Cascade departure, Skywest 5239, passing 2.9 for a left out.
Skywest 5279, Cascade departure, radar contact, leaving 4,200, clear direct, Malbec.
Leaving 4,200, clear direct, Malbec, Skywest 5279.
Air 291 Foxtrot Romeo, traffic no factor, contact Medford Tower 119.4.
119.4, 1 Foxtrot Romeo.
Skywest 5279, disregard.
Connected to PilotEdge.
Skywest 5279, contact Seattle Center 124.85.
Switching 2485, Skywest 5279.
Central aircraft information, November, current Medford Airport. Altimeter, Medford altimeter 3003.
Hello, Cascade, Rise 29, 6000, descending on 2000. We have November, and we're direct to Sammy Plant. Hopefully we can get the ILS at traffic permitting.
President 289, Cascade approach, roger, and I have a request for ILS 14.
Thank you.
Passenger 2089, descend and maintain 10,000.
10,000, 2089.
Never 1, correction, 901, Mike Zulu, Cascade approach to Medford altimeter 3003.
Test, microphone. All right, we're live. Thank you for the follow, sir. Glad to have you around for this flight. It's going to be a fun flight just because Medford, I think it's called Medford, Rogue Valley. Medford Airport, Rogue Valley, Oregon. So I have True Earth, Orbix True Earth, Washington, and Oregon just had an update a couple weeks ago, maybe a week, I don't remember. Anyway, the weather has been so bad, like with clouds and overcast. I haven't really had the best time because I use real world weather all the time to actually check out this new Oregon ortho. So that's the intent of this flight, is to check out the ortho. And of course, we're flying on PilotEdge, using real world procedures, talking to ATC, doing all that fun stuff as well. And this, of course, is a fan favorite aircraft. So I've already loaded it through my iPad app called iGo Connect, which is really cool. It's this thing here that you probably can't see it really well, but you can add in, you can load the plane. Like I put load. So payload weight 6380. So I can come up here, 6380, and plus 15.7 CG, which it calculates everything in the app. And then once you connect it, it will change the CG in real time as you fly, because fuel burn. So when you burn fuel, the weight changes, it displaces in the plane. Therefore, when you're connected to this app, it will adjust the weight of the airplane to reflect real world conditions. All right, so first thing is first, let's file a flight plan and see what happens. So we are here on SimBrief. Did my fuel calculations. We got about 2,700 pounds of fuel with an alternate of Portland. It's a little excessive. We're not going to need to because the weather is clear, but I already loaded the plane. So our passengers, 32 passengers, 900 pounds of cargo, zero fuel weights, 20.9. And then we can come down here to, should I download the flight plan? Yeah, that'll probably make it easier. So I'll download that. All right, so departure, D-ATIS, looking at 29090 for altimeter. 29090, and this is at Reading. And they are current with information Delta, so we will verify Delta, because if it's still Delta, then we can go off of this. Departing runway 16. So Rogue Valley, Medford, is arriving, departing runway 14. Wonder why they're doing ILS, because it's broken at 4,000 feet. So hopefully I won't need to do the ILS, but we'll see. The winds are light, so that's good. So we'll go to PilotEdge, and we're going to follow this generic airway and see if the controller gives us that. So we'll come up here. We'll follow that flight plan, 14,000, alternate PDX. Slant Golf for GPS. If you're in an airliner, it would be Slant Lima. And this is a turboprop M-class aircraft. So we'll file the flight plan. And then we can come to the live map. And here we are. And it's filed, so everything's good there. So flight plan is filed. Ginnigans, how you doing this afternoon there, sir? I can never remember. Are you one that is at, I think you're at work during my streams, right? Some people are home because they're in the Middle East. I think Gizmo's from the Middle East, so it's always like 8 o'clock at night when I'm streaming. Or are you from PA? Like, because a few of us are from Pennsylvania. I'm from Pennsylvania. I can't remember. I got that long-term, short-term memory going on. All right, so let's get rid of all these ground things. We'll hook up the GPU. Hop in the plane. We'll make sure everything is set up. How do you hear me again? Is my microphone working all right? All right, external power is available, so we'll turn on the right battery, left battery. You have to go all the way up and then back to on. Get rid of the caution. External power is available, so we'll connect the external power. Turn on the main bus. Turn on the 3 avionics. Turn on nav light, seatbelt, smoking, battery monitor overhead. There we go. Bring some lights. Flight attendant panel. Turn on all these switches. Let's get some sunlight in here. So is my looks like the stream's all right. Let me unmute the test. Oh, all right. My lawnscaping people are here, so they're going to be loud for a second. Sounds like it's blowing off my driveway. Emergency lights, armed and covered. And we'll get the quadrant set for start. So throttle at ground and conditioner levers at start. And then drag it down here so it's out of the way. Turn on the GPS. Come over here to the comms, turn both volumes up, otherwise you won't hear any ATC. ATIS 124.1.
Reading
Echo.
There we go.
1753 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility 10. Sky condition, clear. Temperature 23. Dew point 4. Altimeter 29 or rate 8. Arriving and departing runway 16. Visual approaches in use. Read back all runway assignments and hold short inductions. Advise on initial contact you have information Echo.
Alright, we're with Echo now.
Reading Municipal Airport, ATIS information Echo. 1753 Zulu. Wind calm.
Let's see what runway they're using.
10. Sky condition, clear. Temperature 23. Dew point 4. Altimeter 29 or rate 8. Arriving and departing runway 16. Visual approaches in use. Read back all runway.
Alright, that's all I needed to know. Alright, so before we punch in, well, it literally only take me, because I already downloaded a, what do you call it, a company route, so it downloads, cut, and paste. Now, delete, punch that in, and we'll see what we get. Normally you don't want to enter in your flight plan before clearance, but that literally took me like 2 seconds. Alright, so we're going to request clearance, and clearance is this 130.5. Let's do this. 121.7 is ground. And towers 119.8. So we're set up. You were working, just punched out for lunch? Yeah, I figured, I thought that's what I remembered. A lot of times you jump in and out in between, like, I remember you saying one point you had a meeting and you were like in between meetings. So you do office work, I'm assuming? Do you have like cubicle? Do you have your own office? I worked in an office that we had our own desks, but we could still see each other and we would not get much work done. Alright, 121.7. So I'm logged in. We're with Echo. We're going to go to Medford. Morning, Reading ground, United 1399 at the terminal. Current with Echo, IFR Medford. Let's see what SID they give me.
Okay, 1399 Reading grounds, clear to Medford Airport. Shasta 3 departure. Expect radar vectors to Victor 23, then it's filed. Climb and maintain 14,000. Departure frequency 132.2, squawk 6540.
Clear to Medford via the Shasta 3 departure. Radar vectors Victor 23, then it's found. Climb maintain 14,000. Open center 132.2 and squawk 6540. United 1399.
Okay, 1399 read back, correct.
Alright, so we actually got what we filed, except we have a SID. So let's take a look at that SID, shall we? So we are at RDD, I think. Yeah, Reading. So departure, and he said Shasta 3. Oh, you're home? You work from home. M9 works from home too. Alright, so Shasta 3 looks like just your typical radar vector type thing. So we're taking off 16. So we'll set the heading bug for 162 or thereabouts. These are all takeoff minimums, which I'm not worried about in a tail. Like takeoff minimums might be more, you might have to worry about takeoff minimums if you're in a 172, for example, and you have a high density altitude and it's 150 degrees outside. Then these would come into play. But for our purposes, I don't have to worry about it. So we're going to take off 16, so it'd be heading 162. So I'm just going to set the heading for 162, 162. Okay. Or assigned heading 350 clockwise 230. So basically from north all the way to pretty much anything east. So they can assign me, they'll probably assign me a heading upon holding short of 16. So I might not actually be doing 162. He may just assign me a heading before I take off. If not, we'll use 162. So Shasta 3 is pretty easy. Telework. I'm on the phone a lot, but between calls I can sort of listen to and watch. Oh, okay. I do remember that conversation, but I'll probably ask you 10 more times before it sinks in. I'm just horrible with memory issues. All right, let's close our hatch. Close that. There's like 100 locks in this thing. It's crazy. All right, so there shouldn't be any open doors, lights. All doors are shut. Turn off left and right avionics. Turn on the beacon light. Check around. Make sure we're clear to start. The GPU is on the right side. So technically, in the real world, you would start number 1, and then once you start it, then you remove the GPU and you start number 2. However, I'm in the habit of starting number 2 first, so I'm just going to do that. Come up here and we'll go to Gen 2, and I need to disconnect external power. Wait a minute, what do I need to do? I need to reset Gen 2, that's right. Reset the gen, then I disconnect external power, and then you'll see the voltage go up. So now we're running off the engine, which means I can remove the GPU. It takes about 5 seconds and you'll see the light extinguish. There it goes. So the GPU is now gone. So we can start engine 1. It's going to be cool. Medford Orbix True Earth did a lot of work around the Medford area, like brand new ortho scenery. So this would be the first time that I recall. I might have flown in or out of Medford here recently, but I don't remember. All right, so let's do the same thing. So we're going to do Bring that to left gen. Reset the gen, and then it should bump up at some point. There it goes. All right, so now we have gen on both, so we'll go to main, and we'll reset the bleeds. Turn on the recert fans, and put it about midway on the environment. So now we got air conditioning. Don't really need it. 73 Fahrenheit here at Reading today. All right, so let's turn on the avionics again. Now we are ready to set autopilot. So we're cleared to 14,000, going all the way up. And we're going to vertical speed initially to 1600 right here. Vertical speed, and then once I reach 180 knots, at that point I will switch to IAS mode, and we'll climb on IAS mode. And we'll put that, don't need a procedure because it's just radar vectors. Victor 23 starts at Shasta, yeah. So Victor 23 is this line, so we're going to get radar vectors to intercept that line. So we'll leave the CDI on GPS mode, and we need to reset the trims, which is pitch trim reset button here, and you're looking for this to show everything's reset. Otherwise you'll get warnings. Cycle the flaps, make sure they're working. Then we'll set it for flaps 1 for takeoff, since we are heavy, almost a full load of passengers. Landing altitude at surveyed elevation at Medford is 1335. So 1335, and current altimeter is 3003, so basically right where it's at, that's fine. And then it's done automatically. That's all you really need. So you want to top off the hydro, see it's a little bit low. So we'll open that up, go to override, put it back to auto. Now everything's in the green. And we'll get the pitot heat on. We'll put window heat to normal. Taxi light can come on. No lights overhead with the exception of these 6 lights. These are generator lights that only start working when the power is increased. So those lights will extinguish as I give throttle. And the funny thing is, with this generator, the coffee maker and the real airplane, from what I've been told, I don't know, but I've been told that the coffee maker will not actually work until these lights extinguish. So in other words, once you're in the air, then you can start making coffee because you'll have the appropriate power to extinguish these lights. Just useless information that I had found out. Alright, so we'll do nose wheel steering. I've got that bound to a button on my yoke to make it easier to turn on and off, because after you take off, sometimes it pops back up. So when you land, you don't have nose wheel steering. So when you land, you got to be prepared to just hit a button, which I have assigned on my yoke, And once I start slowing down, I'll hit that button on my yoke and I'll have nose wheel steering again. All right, let's get ATIS and then we'll get our taxi instructions.
Visual approach is in use. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have information Echo.
All right, we're still with Echo, which means nothing's changed. And so we're on 121.7, 119.8 is tower. I'm gonna pull up my Navigraph charts on my laptop. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to bring up the airport diagram. So more than likely, all right, we're at the terminal. So we'll probably go Alpha, Bravo, Delta. That's what I'm thinking. We're with Echo, so we'll get our taxi instructions. Reading ground, United 1399 at the terminal. Current with Echo, rated taxi.
Yeah, 1399 ready ground runway 16, taxi via Alpha, Bravo, and Delta. Cross runway 12 on Delta.
Runway 16 via Alpha, Bravo, Delta, cross 12 at Delta, United 1399. Alright, Alpha, Bravo, Delta, cross 12 at Delta. Alright, got it. I can't believe that electric coffee maker heaters are a significant battery draw. Yeah, I don't even know. Oh, I see what you mean. That it actually needs gen power instead of just battery. Yeah, you would figure a battery alone would be significant, or would be quite enough. Alright, so we'll bring the conditioner levers up to 75. Take off the brake. And this is Alpha, and then we'll make a right at Bravo right after the windsock here. And here's Delta. I've been meaning to do this flight for the last week or two whenever they updated it, but it's been so overcast and just typical northwest weather, you know, where it's overcast all the time. So yeah, most of this trip should be pretty much cloudless. See, now that I've added power, all those lights are off. But when you're just sitting there idling, they're extinguished. So now you could turn on the coffee maker, but from what I read on the forums that one time, the first attendant, or not first, the flight attendant wouldn't even start turning on the coffee makers for the customers until after they've taken off. 1 second. Brakes on. Prep for takeoff. Takeoff inhibit. That just means that you won't get any warnings unless it's critical on the takeoff phase. Do landing lights on, strobes on. Let the crew know we're gonna take off. Turn on the auto Corson, which is basically an auto feather feature for the Saab. We have 7,000 feet of runway, so we're going to do about 98%. Almost as 100% as we can get because there's a lot of people on board. So we'll arm the auto torque, so that way it won't auto. You want the, it's called CTOT, I believe. This is called the CTOT. Yeah, it is CTOT. So that just prevents the torque from going into the yellow or the red. So I set it for 98, so that's one thing we'll keep an eye on. And then you'll see the auto Corson arm light illuminate as I give it power. All right, flaps are set. Conditioner levers need to go to max for takeoff. We'll switch to tower 119.8 in Oakland Center is 1322. So 132.2. We're going to rotate at about 130 knots, 120, 130 knots. Actually, let me get my pilot report. So, flight plan. Let's download the weather. I've got all of that. Let's go to pilot report. So, flaps 15, rotate with air conditioning on. Actually, it says off. So, about 115 knots according to this, but let's see. 115 seems a little slow, but I'll try to get it off the ground then. It might not. Usually I do it around 130. Reading tower, United 1399, holding short 16.
Yeah, 1399 Reading Tower, runway 16, clear for takeoff, wind calm.
16, clear for takeoff, United 1399. Alright, brake off. Give it a little bit of throttle here. Now you guys probably can't hear the engines really well on stream, but this plane's engines sound really good. I don't know if they're digitally made or if they're recorded, but either way they sound pretty cool. Its field elevation is 500. I need to add that. All right, so we'll bring power up to 50%. Make sure the engines are stable. And then we'll bring up to takeoff power is set. Make sure that does not over torque. It's right about 98, so we're good. So it said 114 knots on the VR. That just seems really slow, so I'm gonna go 120 and see if that's fine. Add 5 knots to it. So there's 120, so we'll try to rotate here. All right, gear up. Take out the flaps. Trim it out a little bit.
At 1399, contact Oakland Center.
Over to Oakland, United 1399, we'll see you. Alright, autopilot's on, so we're going to switch to Oakland Center, which is our departure. $65.40. Totally forgot to do that. Oakland Center, United 1399, 2,100 for 14,000, Shasta 3.
At 1399, Oakland is center radar contact. Say again, your altitude leaving?
2,800, United 1399.
At 1399, roger.
Alright, so I forgot to... Alright, let me make sure the gear and flaps are up. Gear's up, flaps are up. Turn off the... Actually, so you bring the throttle up to about 77 degrees, and then you can turn off the CTOT, and that will lose torque, because now I'm not worried about torque, I'm worrying about temperature, so keep these under 900 on the climb. And now we can turn off auto coursing.
United 1399, turn left heading 360.
Left turn heading 360, United 1399. Alright. 360 is due north. Turn on the yaw damper. Let me get this call. Guess it was a wrong number. They didn't answer. I said hello like 3 times and they didn't say anything. Alright, let's do prop sync on. And where's the airport I just took off from? I have no idea where it's at. Alright, so reduce the props to 79. Cabin pressure is differentials 2.8. That's all that we, for quick views, care about.
Okay, 1399, turn left heading 310.
Left turn heading 310, United 1399. 310. Oh, that must be the airport there.
Yeah, 1399, when you're able, proceed direct Shatta. Join Victor 23, resume all navigation.
Clear direct Shatta, resume on navigation. I'm sorry, Shatta, join Victor 23, resume on navigation, United 1399. Alright, so we're gonna go. There we go. Turn the seat belts off, landing lights, taxi lights. And I'm trying to figure out if I had deleted it, I might have just missed it for turning on the transponder. Usually I turn that on before I taxi. I might have just overlooked it this time. Let me see if I deleted that checklist. Oh no, I see it. Yeah, Squawk Charlie. I just forgot. But I remembered in enough time before I was talking to center. So we are at cruise. Ortho looks really good. This is basically all of Oregon. All of Oregon is what I'm flying. So, no, RDD, Redding is California. So this is Fork Boys Ortho. And then when we get close to our destination, then that will be the Orbix, True Earth, Oregon. So right now we're still over, California. Let's see if I can pick up the boundaries on here. Yeah, we're gonna be in, Fork Boys Ortho is very, very good, and it's free. This is all free, doesn't cost anything, and it does not. Some people might think it hurts performance. It actually improves performance to use ortho scenery. I have no idea why, but at least in my case it does. I push the throttle up a tiny bit, maybe to 78 degrees. This will rise, but it will fall too, so as long as it falls under 900 degrees, which is, It's too high, so I'm gonna have to lower it to 77 maybe. Coming up on my 14,000. Yeah, that's okay there. So do I have Zunis? I'm going to want to do a RNAV approach from Zunis. So let's do procedure and approach. RNAV 32 from Zunis. I'm going to load it. We're not going to use it yet. So RNAV, let me see. So Philpo is 4,600 from Zunis. So 4,600 at Philpo. So I don't know if he's going to allow me to do a circling approach on this or not. So what I'm looking at is I can get rid of those. So MFR. And approach RMP 32. So it's kind of a cool approach because we'll pick it up from the IAF, which is initial approach fix from Zunis. And we'll make a right turn and we'll come in between this canyon. So what I was looking at Philpo, I want to be at about 4,600 feet. So we'll set that. But initially, Zunis is going to be around 7,500. So I'm going to set Zunis for 7,500 on this. So 75. About a mile before. And we'll do 1,100. 1,200, so we got 10 minutes till our top of descent. Zunis is there, and that's where we pick up that R&P, but I don't know if he's going to allow me to do a circling approach because most of the time when you land in Rogue Valley, you use runway 14. So my idea would be to use this as a circling approach, but RMP doesn't, I don't have a circling. It's all straight in stuff. So I'm going to ask him if I can use this for circling, if it's, or maybe I can just do the 3-2 approach. Let me see what their D-ATIS says. So MFR. Yeah, they're using 14. So my idea would be to bring this down to almost minimums, which is MSL 1600.
Seattle Center, Sky 410, radio check.
Sky 410, Seattle Center, I hear you. A bit staticky, but I hear you.
As long as I see the field, which I will, then we can do a circling approach.
Roger, thing.
Stupid phone, hang on. rude person trying to sell me something on the phone, telemarketers. Hey Fiverr, how you doing, bud? All right, where am I? Got 6 minutes left, and then we'll start our descent.
November 811 Mike Sierra Springs clearance.
And let me get ATIS for Medford. So 127.25, I think. ATIS 127.25. So 127.25. And then we'll pop over here.
November 811 Mike Sierra Springs clearance, clear to Centennial. Actually, before I give you your clearance, can you confirm equipment suffix, please?
You want me to get close enough, which we're not yet, then we can get the ATIS.
Arrow 1 Mike Sierra, thanks. Clear to Centennial Airport, Springs 6 departure. Expect for directors Black Forest and is filed. Climb and maintain 10,000. Departure frequency 124.0, squawk 3116.
This is a great flight just because of all the mountains. But we'll be coming into Orbix Ortho here soon.
November 811 Mike Sierra, the routing is Springs 6 departure. Radar vectors, Black Forest, then as filed. Rest of read back correct.
Afternoon, M9. How you doing there, sir? What's new with everybody? I'm doing good, Fiverr. Appreciate it, bud.
1399 contact Seattle Center 121.4.
Seattle Center 121.4. United 1399. Alright, 121.4. Seattle Center, United 1399, 14,000. That's all you got to say when you check in.
Seattle Center, Roger. Medford, altimeter 3003.
Medford 3003, United 1399. Alright, so we will adjust our altimeter to match the current weather. And M9's doing good. Glad to hear that. You're heading home early from work. So there's that. Oh, that's always a good thing. Gotta love being able to drop out of work, especially midweek. Give you a break. So after we passed by FJ, what is that? FJS? And that VOR is called Fort Jones VOR, so that's Fort Jones VOR. Had to look on SkyVector to figure out which VOR that was. So at some point after Fort Jones, I'm going to request the RNAV and see if we get it. Cascade approach 124.3. So I can get that ready. 124.3. And Eventually we'll get close enough we really get ATIS. M9 says, course of a ton of RSG working, waiting for me at home, so it's all relative. Yeah. Sometimes we work harder at our home than we do at the office. Definitely in manual labor in some cases, unless you're into manual labor for work. So, let me see, where am I at now? I think I'm still in California, yeah. We won't actually be in the new ortho until we start our descent for the most part, so. And I got this, it's a crosswind, but it's still 41 knot wind coming out of the left side there, which is why when you do the drive-bys, the flybys, it looks like you're flying sideways. That's because it's fighting this 41 knot crosswind. So, especially after it passes, you'll see that it's facing to the left. Even though it's flying straight, it's facing left to keep a straight angle because the wind is coming this way. So it's having to fight the wind, yet try to keep going straight. So this flight's a little bit longer than other flights just because of the headwind. So as soon as I can pick up ATIS, that's about the time I'll request the approach because I want to use it from Zunis. And Zunis is still 23 miles away. Oh, there's ATIS. Except I can't hear it because it's so far away. I'll wait till I'm a little bit closer. It's already telling me to descend, so I'm going to disregard that. Because you can't descend until ATC gives you permission to descend, or I could request lower at this point. But if I don't hear from him first, then when we are, say, 10 miles from Zunis, I'll request the approach. So, got 10 more miles. And Zunis, you'll probably give me an altitude to cross Zunis at. I'm gonna bring up this approach on my charts. I love the overlay feature of Navigraph charts. It's so cool that it just puts it on top, and you can have it so it's what's the word? So you can really, I wasn't expecting clouds up here. Oh, we'll be below them now for most of it, I think. Let's try ATIS again.
arriving and departing runway 14.
There we go.
ILS runway 14 approach and use.
So we can use
Read backhaul runway assignments and hold short
scoop.
instructions.
Get out of there.
Advise on initial contact you have information, Quebec.
Quebec. I need the altimeter.
Rogue Valley International
winds.
Airport. 8 is information Romeo. 1853 Zulu.
13
Wind
miles.
calm. Visibility 10. 5,000 scattered. Temperature 16. Dew point 6. Altimeter 3000. Arriving and departing runway 14. Visual approaches in use. Read back all runway assignments and hold
3000.
short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information Romeo.
Now it just changed. So,
Rogue Valley International Airport. 8 is information Romeo. 1853 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility 10. 5,000 scattered. Temperature 16. Dew point 6. Altimeter 3000. Arriving and departing runway 14. Visual approaches in use.
see if I can
Read
get
back all
permission.
runway assignments and hold short instructions.
Seattle Center, United 1399. I have an approach request for Cascade.
Yeah, 1399, standby. Number 811 Mike Sierra, Springs Ground, runway 17 right, taxi via Alpha, and advise you have the ATIS. Well, Mike Sierra, information, Tango's current, doesn't look like much has changed, altimeter 2993.
Scattered at 5,000. Yeah, should be fine.
Unit 1399, descend and maintain 12,000, contact Cascade approach 124.3. What's your request?
Descend, maintain 12,000, Cascade 124.3 for a request, United 1399. Alright, so let's go down to 12,000. And we will vertical speed down. Move that to 3000. Back out the RPM a tad bit. And 124.3, we're on Cascade. So I'm going to get this request hopefully before 4 miles.
Sky 410, Seattle Center on request.
Cascade approach, United 1399. 13,300 for 12,000. Current with Romeo. Requesting the RNAV 32 approach. I know ATIS has 14, but can I land on 32, United 1399?
Yeah, 1399, no problem. Where would you like to begin?
I can begin at Zunis, United 1399.
Yeah, 1399, roger, at Zunis, cleared RNAV, runway 32 approach.
At Zunis, cleared RNAV, runway 32 approach, United 1399. Alright. So we are at Zunis, so now we're turning. And so I want 4,600 at Philpo. $4,600. So I need an 1,100 feet per minute descent. So I cross Philpo at 4,600. Alright, this is a cool approach. Takes us right through these valleys and such. Alright, so we can turn the seatbelts back on. The altimeter has been set. Approach frequency is already there. Medford Towers 119.4. Get that ready. Do we have enough hydraulic fluid? Yes, we do. We're good there. So yeah, this approach takes us right into that canyon, as you'll see, here we are. So we're going to swoop down between these canyons and land on 3-2. So I'll leave that off the screen there. But yeah, this is a fun approach. I like this approach. Cabin pressure, differential 3.1. Winds at Medford are non-existent, really. So the main thing is to make sure I'm complying with this vertical speed. And then we'll be good. So it looks like the last heading is 323. So I'll set the heading bug for 32.
Sky 410 is cleared to the Friday Harbor Airport. Water 7 departure, water direct.
See, now this is all Orbic's True Earth Oregon ortho scenery, so that's why I wanted to do this approach on which I was hoping was a clear day, but luckily the ceilings are such that I can still get the benefit of this approach. It's a really fun approach if y'all can do it sometime. Alright, so let's throw on some landing lights, taxi lights,
Sky 410, just to
lights.
confirm the routing, it's water 7 departure, water, then direct. Rest of route back is correct. Advise this frequency, show the runway first line for departure. What does that mean you'll stay with me?
Now I'm descending too fast, so I'll resort back up to 900. And this takes me to Fillmore, right? Which is Philpoo, which is up here. So I'm following this to Philpoo. So let me push that right there. That way you don't crash into any mountains. That would ruin your day. As long as you keep an eye on this, your speeds. The most important part of an RNAV, RNP is your altimeter setting. So number one, make sure this is matching what your sim says. Otherwise you could pretty much become a resident of build camp right here on the mountainside. Alright, so after Fillmore, Philpoo I mean, the final approach fix is Kumba at 2600. So I'm going to set this for 2600. And that will continue our descent. 913 vertical speed, we're at 900. Yeah, this is definitely much improved ortho scenery. See, I'm staying right on track. There's an airport there. I think that's an airport. Yeah. Very short. That's not the airport we're landing at, obviously, but this is a nail biter when it's totally fogged in. I've done it when it's like clouds. So since we're cleared to fly this RNAV, missed approach, climb to 9,000 feet on track 323. So basically runway heading to the missed approach fix. Right turn to this other fix and then on track 027 to cutter and hold. Climb and hold to 9,000. So at the final approach fix, which is Kunba, we'll reset the MCP for 9,000 feet for missed. Imagine being a passenger. Be like, man, you'd almost feel like you're crashing, you know what I mean? Like, we're under the mountains. It's definitely one of my top 5 approaches on any airplane. My top one is my Airbus. I do an approach into Palm Springs that's almost as crazy as this, except, you know, you're really close to mountains on the approach in the Palm Springs, but it, okay, so let's reset. Cumba for 26. So we're still at 900 feet per minute. So, yep, we're doing good. So, Kamba will be the final approach fix. Then we'll get a, this will change to LPV. And we'll take it down to the runway. So I'm going to slow up a little bit more. Do prop sync off.
At 1399, contact Medford Tower, 119er.4, we'll see you.
Medford Tower, 119er.4, United 1399, see ya. Alright, over to tower. Medford Tower, United 1399, RNAV, runway 32.
At 1399, Medford Tower, runway 32, cleared for cleared to land, wind calm.
Runway 32, clear to land, United 1399. With an optional touch and go.
Yeah, no doubt.
Alright, so we got flaps 1, flaps 2, and then some power. And we're gonna arm, where are we at? Cumba. Gonna arm approach.
Springs Tower at Arrow 811 Mike 0, holding short of wind 7 right, ready to depart IFR to Centennial.
Great, 11 Mike Sierra, Springs Tower, fly runway heading runway 17 right, clear for takeoff,
Deer,
4.
gear down.
17 right, clear for tap, runway heading 811 Mike Sierra.
To get ready for the nose wheel. Turn that back on. And now we're coming down to minimums. So we'll do a left turn and taxi back via Alpha. So flaps 3. Turn off the autopilot. Two red, two white. We're good there. I'll take a look around the Medford area. Like I'll jump up into the air, see what it looks like. All right, 100 feet, go to flight idle, and then fly level with the runway.
Sky 410, Seattle Center, thank you. Release for departure.
And
now
then
clearance
just
is
let
void
it
if not
sink
off by
down.
1922 Zulu. Time now 1916. If not off by 1922, call back with your intentions no later than 1925.
So
Frequency changes approved.
You do that, and then you do nose wheel steering on, throw on the reversers, and we'll exit at, looks like Alpha 5 up here. Flaps up.
At 1399 left, turn at Alpha 5, taxi to the ramp via Alpha. And Charlie, are you going to terminals, I'm assuming?
Correct, United 1399.
At 1399, let's just go taxi ramp via Alpha, monitor ground point 8.
Parking via Alpha, monitor ground, point 8, United 1399. Thanks, we'll see you. Alright, so let's exit. I'll go back terminal, turn off the landing lights, strobes, wing light. I want to get a better look at the ortho around the Medford area, like the area that from the north. So I'll just do a camera view and look around. Where's the terminal? Okay. So at the end, I'll see a windsock on the right, and then the terminal's
Number
up
1
there.
Mike Sierra, turn
Swiss
left heading
cheese, how you doing, bud?
080, contact departure.
Left to 080.
Did you
over
catch the
departure.
landing,
All in Mike Sierra.
Swiss cheese? Buttery? Yeah. Yeah, I was happy with that landing. I found that I find my landings with this plane easier to control if I look for a speed of, I have to look on my checklist, I have it wrote down. So I aim for 140 knots as my approach speed with only flaps 3. Now if I have a short runway, then I'll do flaps 4 and we'll slow up to, you know, about 110, 120 or so.
November 811 Mike Sierra.
But
radar
if you have a
contact,
long
altimeter
enough runway,
299,
like this runway was 8,800 feet, and that was way more than enough. So I would think anything 5,000 feet or more, that if you do flaps 3 at 140 knot final approach, that you'll get nice soft landings every time.
Number 1 Mike Sierra, proceed direct the Black Forest VOR, resume on navigation.
Truck's been sitting there the entire time, and now it moves up. Alright, park and brake. props go to start position. And then we come up here, we turn off avionics. Turn off the fans, shut down the bleeds.
Sky 410, sail center ident.
Unarm those, turn off our anti-icing. This anti-icing is going to come in more to play. Obviously, we're approaching winter, so we'll be getting some icing conditions. I'm looking forward to testing it with the TBM especially, and the King Air. They both have a really good icing effects that will actually show up on the leading edge of the wing. So I can't wait for some icing. I'm not going to stay in the icing conditions, but I'm going to try to climb out of it. It's what you want to do, or turn away from it. All right. So we do fuel cutoff. We can turn off the gens and batteries.
Disconnected.
Icing's fun from the office chair. Yeah, exactly. Like, I would not be looking forward to that in the real world. That would be quite scary to have any kind of icing. But yeah, for us armchair pilots, it's exciting because it's a challenge. I've had 2 times. No, I've crashed once because of icing, and I did that in the beach 1900D. I crashed. I kept losing altitude. I'm like, why am I losing altitude? I kept giving more and more power. I just kept losing altitude. It didn't even dawn on me that I was getting icing. And then, so I totally like crashed into a river, I think it was. And then the other time I did not crash, but I came very close to it. I was in my Boeing 767 and I was descending. I mean, I was climbing, and I walked away from the computer. And when I walked away, it was like in the like 23, 24,000 feet. Next thing I know, I come back in the room. I think I ran to the restroom or something. I see me plummeting to earth. And then I realized that it was because of icing conditions. So it's no joke, man. I mean, they sim it too. It's simulated really well. All right, let me disconnect from ACARS. I use this iGo Connect iPad app for this airplane. All right, disconnected from that. Ending fuel 2011. In this plane, the other thing I learned is to try to fly level and just hold the nose up to fly level, and then that way it will just settle down nice and softly. So let's check out Medford. So it's more clouds than I thought it would be. Oh, this is much better than what it was. Let me see if I cruise over this way. Icing can be missed in a real plane, but it's impossible to see if it's not modeled. You mean it's impossible to see in a real plane? Like you don't, because the ice is clear, so you don't actually see it on the wings like you do in the sim? I don't know. I don't fly for real all that much. And Fiber says, nice. Oh, thanks, man. Where'd the airport go? There it is. So this is just a gateway airport with the Mr. X HD airport. It just makes the runways and taxiways much nicer. But otherwise, Orbix has, this is all brand new. This is not the HD package, by the way. This is the SD package that I have for Oregon. But this is a lot better. I mean, this city, I mean, the field, football fields, it's much nicer than it was. Before it was very washed out. So it's a lot better in a Medford. I didn't want to pay for the HD version of this one because I have the HD version of Washington, and that is pretty heavy on the frames. So the SD to me looks like I can't tell a difference between SD and HD except maybe in the city area of Seattle. But Oregon looks really good even for SD, so I'm like, why spend the extra, what, $10, $15 for the HD? My computer will run it, but it's not that significant of a difference enough for me. But yeah, the that approach is really cool to come down the mountains. So what I was going to ask, if the winds were such that I would have had to have used runway 14, and if the visibility was like this, I would have tried to use the RMP 3 for runway 32 like I did, except instead of landing, I would have requested a circling approach. So once I would have gotten to what's the field elevation is 13, so right around 2,300 MSL, you know, I could have done whatever traffic he wanted me to do. He might have told me more than likely with this airport, probably would have been left traffic, which means I would use the approach all the way down to 2,200 feet and then come out to the right and make left traffic to the runway 14. So come back. So that way you can still do the cool approach through the mountains and just go into a pattern for runway 14 for a visual. If you need the ILS, then there's no point in doing the RNAV. You just keep flying over and then they'll vector you in for an ILS 14. But if the clouds are high enough, what's it say that, well, I'm already, let me see what the clouds base is for this. 5,000. Now, if you look at the meter, when it shows 5,000 feet for scattered, that's not MSL. That's 5,000 feet above ground. So the meter for this right now is 5,000 feet scattered. So these clouds would be 5,000 feet above ground. The ground is 1,300. So that would be 6,300 MSL for the clouds. So that's something you have to think about on meters. The clouds are always AGL, never MSL. I don't know, you guys probably knew that, but I learned that maybe 6 months ago. I always thought the cloud cover was MSL, but it's actually AGL. And Ginnigans was saying, in the sim, we miss it because we get no signs of ice. Yes, I agree. We're all set. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate the conversation. Appreciate the followers, subscribers. I will be uploading this video to my YouTube channel, Chase 1399 Aviation. Should be available by tomorrow. And I will find some streaming ATC for Medford. And I will catch you all tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Chase out.